Okay, today is a whole new day, so I've been wondering myself, and I am going to Google it. What is baby lasagna MBTI? Of course, the first page to appear is personalityshittybase, which I already claimed that it's full of shit. But okay, let's see what it says. Marko, born in the 5th of July. That's amazing, considering it's one day after mine, but he's younger. I'm from 92, he's from 95. Okay, let's see the type. Of course, people will rate him as an INFP.
Oh shit, here we go again.
You know, this is what I hate about this page. They mainly do it based on stereotypes. And INFPs have the stereotype of being sweethearts, etc. And the thing is that I disagree because, you know, an unhealthy FI dominant wouldn't be a sweetheart because they will be only caring about their values and they wouldn't give a fuck about the other people. I think it's terribly mistyped, and we are going to correct that. Apparently there was 106 votes, but I do not agree with all of them. I don't think that they have the proper knowledge, but as I said before, I have a video which I will be putting in the description and on the video itself. So now we're going to look to a bunch of interviews and we are going to decide his type. So remember this, and also remember the cognitive function. I already explained them on another video, but I'm going to speak with the cognitive functions. I'm not going to say the full sentence. So FI, introverted feeling. TI, introverted thinking. NI, introverted intuition. SI, introverted sensation. FE, extroverted feeling. TE, extroverted thinking. NE, extroverted intuition. SE, extroverted sensation.
Oh my gosh, please tell me. We are in Madrid, the first Eurovision pre-party. How are you feeling? Are you ready to perform tonight?
I'm way better than yesterday because I got 8 hours of sleep and I'm ready. I ate and yeah, I'm really excited about showing what I've got.
Notice how the first things he answers is about SI, introverted sensation. He says, I have 8 hours of sleep, I ate, so I'm ready to perform.
But yeah, it was nice. Well, to be honest, I didn't expect even to get in as a reserve, and after that, yeah. So I was a reserve before I got on the main list or whatever.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, that's the
To win at the end?
yeah, and by that margin, that's the best part, you know. So yeah, it's a really good story, I think.
Like, who were choosing the songs? I wanna know.
I still don't know.
What was your reaction when you heard that you are actually in Dora 2024? When did they call you?
Yeah, they called me. I was watching The Office and eating spaghetti, and they were like, "Hey, somebody got out. Are you ready to go on stage on Dora?" I was like, "Yeah, sure. Okay, we'll email you." Okay, and I was like, "Yeah," and people around me were like, what? Yeah. And then when they started their reaction, I was like, okay, this is something big. And then yeah. It didn't hit me at first, but then later I understood what's going on.
Also, he notices how he speaks of the future. He says to me, I didn't even think it was going to happen because I was like a backup, because he won it despite there was someone else on his place but decided to retire. So again, this is like SI dominant versus any inferior function. So I'm sorry to all of you who love INFPs, but this sounds to me more like an ISJ. As you can notice by his response, he also remembers quite well. This is also SI. And also I don't see SE in him, because SE people will be showing off. Unless they were, like inferior function, they will probably not show off, but they will know the magnitude. But to me, he sounded more and more like an SI dominant. And why? Because he's very humble, like he's on his comfort zone, so he didn't realize how big this was and how this could change his life career. I don't think he's a future thinker, meaning NE or NI, because he's more down to earth, and especially with SI.
Now the performance, it was very, very cool. What was the idea behind it and how did it happen?
Well, same as my music, I wanted to, connect and find a connection actually between rock and dark kind of stuff, and then folklore, Croatian folklore, and I think we did it in our own little way, and I think it panned out good for us. So yeah, that was the mission, like connect goth and dark and rock and metal with, folklore and some everyday stuff.
What I find interesting is that here he is showing a little bit of NE, like other alternative, because he is like, we are mixing all of these genres together.
I wanted to describe to someone, what's that Baby Lasagna song, you would say it like that. And I was like, well, this could be something, and I imagined it as a dance of a village. And at that time my friend was leaving our country in a search of a better life, and I was like, yeah, this is the moment, this is the song that I'm gonna talk about, that problem that we have. So, yeah.
Notice how he also recalls the past and a friend that was living. So he's basing an experience of the past, not his experience but his friends, but he still is recalling the past. So to me, again, this is a big SI.
Why did you stay in Croatia? Why didn't you move as well? Did you ever thought about it?
I thought about it, but I never got. I don't have the guts to do it. I really love where I am, and I was one of the lucky people who got to stay and work where they were born. So I'm really happy and humble about it, because not a lot of my friends didn't have the same opportunity. They had to move, and I'm shocked that people from Spain tell me that they have the same problem here, and so that makes the song resonate even more to a broader public.
Again, he's recognizing that he's so privileged that he got to stay in Croatia and that he doesn't want to move. This is again SI, because it speaks of his comfort zone, like he feels happy with Croatia, and again FI, because it's what he values, because other people, if they have SE or FE, would say, I will move to a bigger country because I want more money, more opportunities. But he just wants to stay in Croatia and, and make music. He has the opportunity to stay in Croatia and doesn't want to leave it. So again, this is SI, because it's his comfort zone. It's where he feels good, when he senses, what he already knows. He doesn't need to go outside like an SE user would do.
When did you choose the title of the song? Like, did it came to you like that? Like, were you like, oh, the title will be Rim Tim Tagadim, or did you have another version as well?
Well, when I write songs, I take a lot of breaks. I mean, like every 15 minutes. So I took the break from that song, and I poured myself a cup of coffee, and I was like, Tim Tim Tagadaga, Rim Tim Tagadaga, and I was like, yeah, that's it. That could be everything. The title.
Again, he recalls perfectly that he was drinking a cup of coffee while singing Rim Rim Tagiri Rim Tim Tagiri. So this is again SI for me. Why? Because he's recalling it. He has a privileged memory, as SI dominant people have, and also. He says drinking coffee, and this is an SI experience, because it's not like I was walking outside. No, I was inside drinking coffee.
I actually saw you were wearing a hoodie, like with your merchandise, Rimtim Tagidim.
Yeah.
Who made that? It was so beautiful.
A friend of mine made it just for the, just here you go, have fun. But actually, I'm gonna release my merch in a week. Yeah.
You guys, you better get ready, get those wallets, get those purses, and get that coin. Now, did you meet the other artists already?
Yeah, I only have one problem, and that is that I'm really shy, and I don't know how to approach them. But
Just say hi.
Yeah, but I don't know. There's a voice in me saying, "Don't do it. They're gonna hate you." So I have met all of them, but mostly because they came up to me and said, "Hi, Marko." So if you're an artist and I don't approach you, don't take it. I'm not mean. I'm just shy, but I want to meet you all.
Problem with the MBTI community that a lot of people think that being introverted is the same as being shy, and no. You could be shy even if you are an extroverted. But in this case in particular, he is an introverted and besides shy.
Yeah, thank you.
Have a message for them.
No, just, I don't know what to tell you. Thank you. Just thanks. I don't know what to tell you. Thank you.
And vibe on Rimtim Tagidim.
Yeah, Rimtim Tagidim, Rimtim Tagidim, Rimtim Tagidim, Rimtim.
Yes, that was amazing.
Notice how I see a lack of SE because he has like a little bit of problem, like he doesn't know what to say because he's outside of his comfort zone. And I think this is because he's shy, not only because he's introverted, because even introverted people can get out and answer appropriately, but he's really shy. Also notice how Any is pretty negative because he says like they are going to hate you because it's a possibility that it's not happening, and it makes sense for an SI dominant to be fearful of the future. So he says like there is a voice inside my head say don't do it, they're going to hate you. So I can see an inferior NE over there.
The song starts out, "Hey, I'm a big boy now. I'm ready to leave. Ciao, mama, ciao." So you're going on a journey. Could you tell us, what is this journey? Where is the village you're starting from?
I think that a lot of my lyrics come from subconscious, things that I'm not thinking really about. So in Croatia, we have a lot of problems with young people moving out. And there's been a lot of news going on about that. So I think that subconsciously me listening to those words, maybe that song is about that, about young people leaving our country in a search of a better place, heavy heart, and as it says in the song, and my anxiety attacks, I'm gonna miss you all, but mostly the cat and stuff like that.
Notice how he mentions he read this on the newspaper. So we can see TE here because he's getting external information from the outside that he's putting on his music according to his values. So we can see TE and FI.
Later in the song, you say, "Meow cat, please meow back." Is that a foreign cat who has just met you?
No, it's my cat. My cat, I have 3 cats, and one of them is like really nice and cuddly and stuff. The other is always outside. And the third one is like princess, like don't talk to me, I don't care. So it's a running meme that cats are like a-holes, you know what I mean? and I imagine myself with a briefcase, like leaving the house and like, meow, please meow back, I'm never gonna see you again. And that's the thing, like, meow cat, please meow back. And she's like in her own, whatever, not even looking at you, not knowing that you're living forever maybe. So that's a little like funny part in the song. Like I tried it to be funny also, not so serious and dark.
Notice how he mentions perfectly his 3 cats and mentions the personality of each cat. Like, he has a prodigious memory and he knows full of details. And also, he also uses his any, playful, because he says like, okay, these are my cats, so this is what I imagine. I'm going to put it in a song in a funny way, an alternative way. Because if he was an NI user, it will be like, please don't ignore me, cat, or something like that, because he says like, I imagine them, like ignoring me, but he puts it in a funny way because it's another alternative. So he's using a little bit of his inferior NE.
Do you, as a Croatian, ever get upset that so many people are leaving or that circumstances encourage them to leave?
Well, sure I do, but not as much. I mean, I'm not that much into politics, but I have a lot of friends that were in that kind of situation that are struggling with, finding an apartment even, or a job or anything. And that's when I get angry or sad, because I'm losing friends to politicians and their politics that are not beneficial for young people here in Croatia.
He says that he's not very into politics, but that he misses, his friends that are living. This also is like FI to me, because he's like, I don't care about politicians, but I found this myself really sad. And he mentions his own friends. He doesn't mention the rest of the people. So for me, this is FI, not FE.
It's chill, everything is all right, I'm not scared. When I got on the stage, I was like, well, it's not that big. And I was like, it's not that big of an arena, but I think the stage fright will kick in later and everything will be as it should.
Again, he answers that he has seen Malmö Arena and that it didn't surprise him because he was expecting to be bigger. So again, you might say it like, oh, this is NI because he was picturing just that it was going to be gigantic, but no. He actually also answers with SI because he's like, I'm on my comfort zone because there's not going to be a lot much of people as I thought that it was going to be, very chaotic.
What are the big changes from Dora?
Well, I'm doing a bit more dancing. We have a lot more pyro and a lot more effects. I think the biggest change is with outfits. And but we're doing the same vibe because I think if something works, don't fix it. And I think it worked on Dora. And I think the biggest change will be probably my singing. I think I'm doing it better now. I took vocal coaching for my vocals, and I think it's gonna sound good now.
What advice did the vocal coach have for you?
Well, she said you gotta learn to breathe. And also I need to control myself because I do a lot of jumping and a lot of and I lose my breath. So I need to control myself and actually stop myself like...
Yeah.
And then of the changes, he says like, if it's not broken, don't fix it. And the main changes are going to be, on the details, on the effects that we are using and on the outfits. So this to me also sees like an SI dominant, because he says like, if this already works, how should I, change it? Because people with SE would say like, yes, this totally work in my nationals, but I want to show off even more. And he doesn't do that. Like he said, like, we are going to do some minor changes. So to me, he's still an SI dominant. Also, he mentions how he's taking lessons to sing better. This is also an SI dominant because this has to do with the vocals, with your voice and your inner, your breathing. So he's also saying like, I recognize this problem that I have, that I have to sing better. So he sees this problem on himself and he's training to do that. So again, this is SI. again, this is funny because I see this as when he connects with his shadow functions, in this case SE, and he said like when I get jumpy and all that, I can control my voice properly, so I have to manage to do it properly so I don't miss out on the song.
And of course, your song has a very important message about the struggle that young people have deciding whether to leave home or stay. How have Croatians responded to that message all these months later?
Oh, I think that's the best part of it. So a lot of Croatians who had to leave their homes. So I got a lot of messages from communities from Croatia, in Ireland, in Sweden, from Australia, from Germany. Croatians are picking up their phones and writing me messages, and that's the best part. They're saying that they have something to relate to now, and they feel heard or understood, at least from artistic standpoint of view, not so much from a politics yet.
Yeah.
But that's the best part. If I had a chance to make somebody happy with this within those 3 minutes that I performed, that's the point of music. That's the point of Eurosong, I think.
You might argue that this is FE because he's talking about other people, but I think this is FI because he values that other Croatians outside of Croatia enjoy his music and could relate to him. This is FI. Otherwise, an FE user would say that he brought the song mainly to the people, but for me, he's writing it on his own values and on his own personal experiences, as he mentioned before.
And if y'all feel seen, you can vote from abroad. Let's get that diaspora vote.
Yeah, pokažimo koliko nas ima.
Pokaža koliko nas ima.
That's really close. Yeah, right.
Now, speaking of smiles, we're all laughing. You have a book out. Please tell us about your book.
Oh, yeah. So it's the picture book. It's a story told from a perspective of my cat Stjepan, the one-eyed cat, orange cat, and how he saw me making Rim Tim Tagadim. And I think it has a really cool story. At the end, he says, I figured it out. Happiness doesn't come from trophies, it comes from adventures that we take together. And I think it's a good message for the young ones, and for us adults, we need to get reminded sometimes that we shouldn't run for materialistic things, we should enjoy just the moment. And yeah, so I'm really proud, I'm really happy. I think it looks amazing and I think people will like it. And since there is a lot of talk about trophies on Dora and now in Croatia for other awards, music awards, and now Eurovision, and at the end of the day we agreed upon it's not about actually the trophies or awards or first place or second or third, whatever. It's about the time that we spent together, because on your deathbed it doesn't matter if you have a lot of trophies, if you have your friends and your cats with you.
He's mentioning his book for kids, and again I think this goes with his values. And also you might say this is a C because he's talking about experiences, but to me this is experience of the past. And also someone with SE would prefer the trophy, to be honest, because they like to show off, they like to say, oh, I won, look at me, I'm the best. But he's like, as long as he feels happy with what he's doing, SI combined with FI, he's happy about the results. And also using a little bit of NE because it's not from his perspective, but a cat's perspective. Here he's talking about his values, like he doesn't care about the trophies. He says like, as long as I have my friends and my cats with me, I'm alright. This is FI, not FE, because other people would say like, yeah, I would,
enjoy American rappers, Megan Thee Stallion, Cardi B.
Yeah, I do, and I also like the ones that I grew up with, so like DMX, Eminem, and stuff like that, like the old school. But I also love like Post Malone and Kendrick Lamar, and yeah.
Notice when the interviewer tells him about recent rappers, he goes back to the old school. Again, SI dominant.
Now, we're here at Theodora's birthday party, which you're co-hosting. Could you say something about Theodora and her song?
Yeah, Theodora, first of all, it's an amazing person, and I don't know how much you will get that, but I think you will. So in the Balkans, when you say hello to everyone, every other artist, it's like forma, how are you, how did you travel? And when we are with Theodora, it's like, šta ima? It was totally casual, like in in our language, like, yeah, we know each other. It's like more of a, Balkan thing.
Okay.
It's totally chill. And her song, we can't stop singing it. Every time we travel to the pre-parties, our PR was like, It started to sing, and I was like, oh my gosh, shut up. It came to a point where it's like, okay, we need to stop singing that song because it got stuck in our ears. I think Theodora is just a beautiful person, beautiful artist. She's so diverse. Yeah. Did you hear her other songs?
Incredible.
She does the rap and everything, just absurd. She's so versatile, yeah. And that's what I respect most about her.
It's also interesting how he finds Theodora, that she has a lot of variety on her music, like not only ballads, and he respects that. So this is like his inferior and he's speaking to him because it's like, there are a lot of alternatives and she can do that. And I have respect for that. And of course, this also speaks to me like he's an NE inferior and SI dominant, because this is something that he will most likely struggle with, speaking on Jungian psychology theory.
So, Marko, you are Baby Lasagna on stage, but you are a little bit reserved as a person. How do you transform from Marko to Baby Lasagna?
The Baby Lasagna is always in me, so I just let him be for those 3 minutes on the stage, and then again when we get off the stage, he's out. So, yeah, it's kind of a second person which I contain somehow.
This is even more interesting because he's talking about Baby Lasagna not being Marko, like a second personality. And this is like the shadow personality that, on his case, I have seen enough to say that he's an ISTJ. And what is funny is that the shadow function or the unconscious is an ESTP, which is the total different from a stereotypical ISTJ. ESTPs are really impulsive. They love having experiences. They're very, the combination SE with FE makes them the most extroverted of the extroverts. And, also dancing. Like, it makes a lot of sense to me that he chooses Baby Lasagna as his opposite personality.
1,000 people waits you tonight in the AFAS Live. Are you ready for it?
I think I am. I just need to eat something and, go to the bathroom, and then it will be fine.
And also notice how he first mentioned, like, are you ready? If he was an FI dominant, he will mention his values, his emotions, like, yes, I'm ready or I'm not ready. But he mentions, like, I need to eat, SI, and then I need to go to the bathroom, again, SI. He's even more confirmed to me that he's an SI dominant.
The betting odds show that you are leading by 37% to win Eurovision this year. How do you feel about that, and how do you cope with that pressure?
The same I did when I was leading it before Nemo took the stage. Those are just numbers, and as Kobe said, the job's not done. So it's not over until the fat lady sings.
he is asked on the press conference how does he feels leading the odds, and he answers like, TE, those are your numbers, but it doesn't mean anything until the competition is done. So he gets a little bit awkward when talking about the future, but he is open to new possibilities. Like, he's not saying I'm going to lose or I'm going to win. So he's definitely any user, but inferior any, because he gets awkward when he's mentioned this. And I didn't find other interviews, but he talks about this being like a pat in the back saying you're doing a good job. And this is also an SI dominant sentence, because he's talking about how his body feels, So that's my conclusion. He is an ISTJ. That again, the people, because they think that all INFPs are sweethearts and so is him, so he must be an INFP. No, hold your horses. We just have proven that he's not. And also, I couldn't find this with subtitles, but when he went to Croatia, he was with 30,000 people that received him on the capital. It was amazing, and he said like, I was just expecting 30 people and it was like 30,000 people. So he was amazed. He even cried, and then he received a prize by his government that it was a lot of euros. I don't remember which exactly. And he donated all to charity. He says like, I don't need this. I think that there are people who are more in need of this. And you might argue this is FE, because FE people care more about the values of others. But I think that this is why typology isn't an exact science, because FE is your inner values. So his inner values is like, I have a comfortable life. I don't really need this. So my values are that I'm going to give it to the people who actually need it. Because as far as I'm concerned, I've also been mentioned, you can tell me if this is a lie or if this is a true, but he has also worked with autistic children. So that is his own values, not the values of the people around him. It's not like people are telling him like, oh, like this is our values, or, it's his own values being reflected. And also he's not an SE user, because otherwise he will be showing off and be like, oh yeah, 30,000 people. So this is my conclusion. I mean, if you're angry because he's not an INFP, because people think that just because he's a sweetheart, he's an INFP, you can get angry at the comments. I really don't care. I'm doing more proper typology based on actual information from Jung and his disciples, and not just doing the stupid test or a stupid letter shit. So there you have it. Again, another sensor that has been completely mistyped for an intuitive, because people really don't know how to type. So please do yourself a favor and never trust personality database, because this is by far the worst page ever to look for an MBTI type, or typology for that matter.